Here we go! Hello, and welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone. I am your host, not Nice One, but Blues. Nice One unfortunately cannot be here today, but I am joined by my co-host, Jaden Winsong. How are you doing?
Doing as well as anyone can considering the plague, you know?
Gosh.
But it's been a while, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have been able to square away time to reconnect with you, Blues, and the listeners/watchers out there.
Yeah, it's glad to have you back on the show. You always bring a lot of good thoughts, and ideally we'd have the whole trio here, but like I said, Nice One couldn't make it, but we still have a good show for you nonetheless. I realized I forgot an important tidbit. It's fine. Let's cut this out.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Which tidbit?
Introduce the best place for Nintendo-related topics. Like he always. I muffed it.
It's okay.
Oh well. So today we're going to be talking about a couple new hot products that have been announced from Nintendo, as well as the lack of titles. Paper Mario released this weekend, and there's nothing on the horizon, so we're going to be deep diving a bit into that for a bit, and we're just going to tell you guys, well, hey, here's our thoughts on our favorite games, what we've been playing, and maybe if you got something in the backlog, I don't know, some games to recommend for you. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, this is a segment that we've been calling "What Are We Playing?" Amongst ourselves, and it's one that we've wanted to do for a while. So I'm hoping that when we eventually get to it, it will be something that all of y'all enjoy.
All right. So let's start with these product drops. So a few days ago, the big one that Nintendo announced was another Lego set. So in addition to the Super Mario Lego set that was announced, we also now have a Super Mario set for Super Mario set. We also have an Lego NES, and yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. That's how I do screen shares. Cool. Okay, so they have announced a Lego NES, and this Lego NES, it looks really cool. It's got its own cartridge. I'm not sure if the system itself actually plays anything, but it also comes with its own retro TV that you can sort of crank, and it has a little Mario that'll run up and down on through the level, almost like a conveyor belt sort of slideshow.
Right.
And it also has connectivity with the existing Super Mario Lego set, and it uses that sort of electronic connectivity within the Mario. Is it a minifig here at this point? I don't know if I call it a minifig, but the Lego Mario piece.
That's one of the things that I find so intriguing about this particular release is just how little we know in terms of specifics. I don't think we have any specific dimensions, so I mean it could be relatively mini compared to other things, but I don't get a sense of how mini the mini is. I'm intrigued by the
fit in my hand, I'm sure.
Right. But I mean, hand sizes are all kind of different, so it depends on is it 3 inches or is it 6 inches?
Hand.
Right.
I didn't say your hands. I said my hands.
Exactly. But that'll be something really curious. And there are other articles out there that are saying that the system is playable. But what exactly does playable mean? I don't know. So that'll be really
interesting. Pretty sure it's just a slideshow. Or I mean the actual systems. I don't know what that does. There's a whole cartridge in it.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it's just an NES Mini? That's not a thing. Just build your own NES Mini. I mean, I suppose you're right. But then why even have the fake TV?
Probably just for the nostalgia factor. I mean, one of the things that I love in the video is that not only did they include the general frame, but it also had the antenna too, which is to me that's a nice Oh, that's a throwback. That takes me back. It kind of makes me want to go and get aluminum foil and put it around the antenna for better reception.
Beyond that, the conveyor system, it's really crazy. Design work, engineering. That's the word I'm looking for. As far as Legos, I know that we've seen some pretty crazy Lego stuff in the past, but this is really cool. It reminds me a lot of an old video from like 10 years ago. They made like Mario playable from within like a paper box. It was just scrolling, but the fact they made it of Legos specifically is crazy because it was just sort of paper, but
right.
This is like a brick and it conveyor belts. Yes.
Well, I think that's one of the things of just what's what I'm looking for. It's kind of a symptom of the modern age, right?
I can see that.
Where things these days, we're so used to things being digitized and having computer parts and all these other sort of electronic components that
being more analog design work is impressive.
Right, and it's one of the things I've been looking on in my spare time randomly is just kind of like design history from Victorian era kind of stuff here and there, and also design history of firearms. And you find out that like early on they had some really intriguing ways of getting things to do what they wanted to do. And so this is just another example of like interesting, intricate analog design that is really simple when you think about it, but it's not one of those ways that it kind of takes a bit of an out of the box kind of thinking to get to the point of like, oh, you can do that, can't you? So I totally agree with you that I love the kind of conveyor belt sort of thing.
And I guess just to give some of the viewers a better clarification on what examples we're kind of talking about, imagine a system like, operated on gears and valves and pulleys and cranks, as opposed to now it's just one microchip.
Right.
So that's kind of that modern era that we're describing versus the, when you play original Mario Bros, it's on a screen. You don't see the inner workings of itself through microchips, but they've recreated it through just conveyor belts, essentially. So,
right. Nice. Another example of that is like, for anyone who's interested in kind of design, look at modern pinball machines and then compare them to like early turn of the century, like 1902 or whatever pinball machines, and it's really interesting some of the clever ways they got around what we do now to for some of the designs. It's just interesting.
Some pinball machines now have like anti-tilt features.
Yeah,
it blows my mind.
Yeah,
because like that's like part of pinball is tilting the machine.
Oh anyways, yeah.
Anyway, so a couple months back, just before we got the Paper Mario announcement, there were these rumors, right, that we were going to get a Mario 35th anniversary collection, and it was going to involve basically all of Mario's games. Well, I'm happy to announce that has happened. We are getting Monopoly Super Mario Bros. Celebration, which features, first Mario, the 2D games, Sunshine, 64, Galaxy, Odyssey. It's got them all. It's all in one game, one package for you.
Yeah, this is exactly what the fan base wanted.
Yeah, for sure. Like Nintendo 100%. Listens. Yeah, for sure.
Now, if none of you know what Monopoly is, then get out of whatever rock you're living under. I'm not going to explain what Monopoly is.
Like, I'm just so blown away that they can not only make Monopoly over and over and over again and just sell it, but beyond that, specifically, we have like 5 different Mario Monopolies at this point.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I honestly am a little bit surprised at new Monopoly releases for Mario because if what you mentioned before, we've seen multiple Nintendo monopolies released in the past.
Mhm.
So I am very curious to see what specifically will be different this time around,
I
if
mean,
anything at all.
the Monopoly, we just recently got two Mario Monopolies very recently, which is why it sort of feels like more redundant. If we didn't get one since like the 80s, you know, it would make sense, like, oh, about time, you know.
That would have been 40
I
years.
think, yeah, the only real differences that I can see is that this is not just one specific game of Mario, it's all of them, sort of paying homage to all of them. And then there's this weird question mark block toy that might do something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked too much into it. Other than just like normal Monopoly, it seems. But I do know that the Monopoly gamers at least did a little bit here and there to change up the formula, which is kind of appreciated. But this more or less seems like it's just a standard Monopoly to me. So I feel like you're probably better off just buying Monopoly Gamer or Monopoly Gamer Mario Kart.
Right.
So,
right. Do you want to mention the other Mario?
Yeah, so
board game?
in addition to the Super Mario All-Stars 2 collection that we are getting in the form of Monopoly, we also get Jenga. You know, everyone wanted Mario Jenga. Who didn't want that on the Christmas list? But in all seriousness, this is a really cool looking Jenga set.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it's got like Bowser, like not even like on top. It's like he's in the middle of the Jenga set, and then there's little character stickers sticking on the side. I don't know if I call them stickers, but like pegs. Coming out of the side.
On the sides of we'll put a picture up at some point. Let's wait. Have you already?
No, because I would.
That's okay. We can superimpose it later.
I got it. Hang on. Boom. I'm so good at on-the-fly editing. So good at this. It's not like it's taking me a million years to accomplish anything. Boom. How's that?
There we go.
So good at this.
So for those of you that are watching this, you'll see that on the sides of the actual blocks, and this is not the wide side, it's the smaller side. There are holes for you to insert the character pegs, so they can actually ascend the tower. Even on the box, it says that you have to race up the tower in order to battle Bowser. And so I don't
read that. It's so tiny. How did you read that?
Oh, in another screen, I popped it up and then zoomed in. But beyond that, I'm not really sure what that's going to entail, other than there looks like there's a
there's like some Mario Party elements here. Yeah. So there's like a spinner, some cards, some coins, and the cards may have some effects. There's players. I don't know, but there's a lot going on here.
So this is not just Jenga, it's Jenga with a Mario twist, which I think will be really cool.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see what exactly happens there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in that one.
But other than that, like Nintendo hasn't made like any real announcements beside like Bakugan.
Right.
Which everyone's shitting on that Bakugan game, but I'm over here defending it with my life. I love Bakugan. Please play Bakugan. I don't care if you play the video game as much, but like there's a whole rebooted TCG and it's phenomenal. It's such a good game. It's not perfect, but right now it's my personal favorite TCG. If you like card games, you should play Bakugan.
Although, I would recommend that if you like card games, get the digital version right now, because with the plague, good luck finding someone in person to play with.
There's no digital Bakugan. Bakugan is a game of marbles. You play with marbles.
You
can't roll.
Interesting.
Yeah, because originally it's based off of marbles, and then they added TCG elements into marbles, and they also added, collectible figures, because Pokemon. They had to also make a Pokemon.
One. Yeah. That was a trend. That was a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but beyond that, I think the next topic was segueing into Mario, from Mario into the release of Mario and the Paper Mario and the Origami King, and the fact that we haven't really heard anything beyond this release as to
No.
what's going on in 2020, which is a bit surprising. Usually by now they give out hints of what we're planning to see for the winter holiday season, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
So that'll be rather curious.
It's very unprecedented historically for Nintendo to not like have any plans like currently known to the public, if that makes sense. In terms of like things definitively slated for this year until delays happen, because like we know that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is happening, and I sure still hope that Metroid Prime 4 is happening. But those are games that Nintendo says that not in the foreseeable future. Don't get your hopes up. So what is there for the rest of 2020? We're halfway through the year, and all we really have is like Pokemon DLC. That's not a game. That's a DLC.
Right. I mean, I've heard that there were some rumors. Maybe I just dreamed it, but I could have sworn I saw something about reviving some old Pokemon things. I mean, we got Pokemon Snap.
Oh yeah,
that was an announcement.
For that, though.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be 2021 or 2020. Probably 21. Right, and
I could see it being spring release, yeah.
Yeah, especially with the plague. I know that the plague has been hitting dev processes difficult, and so it makes sense.
Specifically, like in Asia, a lot of tech companies that work in like development of tech aren't prepared to work from home, which includes Nintendo. Because here in America, everyone really owns a PlayStation. Everyone owns a PC and internet connection, like some basic software. But in Japan, it's not really a thing, and other parts of Asia as well.
Yeah. That's a very curious thing over there. It's laptops are a thing, but I don't know if we're talking like dev powered kind of laptops. So then there's the entire thing where it comes with, specifically with console stuff, you need to test these builds on actual hardware. Yeah. Which is another thing that's complicated if you're unable to go into the office. So it's just an interesting time all in all, and I imagine that has had a large impact on that. But it is still rather curious to me that they haven't been able to even release any sort of direct that says we don't have a whole lot to show, but we're still alive and we're still working on things,
Well, we just had the announced Bakugan. I think that was it. That was them. We don't have much. Here's Bakugan.
Yeah, that's it. Bakugan is the game of the year, guys.
I mean, it's a holiday release. I mean, real talk. Can we backtrack? This is totally Reggie's influence. Okay, so Reggie, in addition to being like on the board for GameStop, is also on the board for Spin Master, the toy company behind Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol, right? Yeah. Yes. As well as like Bakugan, I guess too. And so this is Reggie saying, "Hey, Bill Trinan over at Treehouse, we got a game for you. I know you don't have a game." So that's 100% Reggie's influence there.
That's funny.
Yeah. But like the Bakugan announcement really is the biggest announcement we've had, which is I think also partly why a lot of people have been crapping on the Bakugan announcement, because it doesn't look very pretty and the combat might be a bit too much grabbing cores off the ground. Hopefully it evolves later, because they said that's like the third fight in the game. I don't know. So hopefully they add more depth to the combat. God, I hope so. I want that game to be good, so I'm gonna spend $60 on it no matter what. I'm that guy.
Hey, I mean, I do have to say though that is one of the things that I think is. Wait, is Bakugan's not a first party franchise, is it?
No. So it's
owned. It's a third party.
So the rights, I believe, are owned by Spin Master, the toy company, but the game was being developed by Way Forward. The only reason it was really shown is because Reggie. That's what I'm saying. and they had nothing else.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. So I mean, but yeah, that's a good point. I think that even though there is maybe some concern that we haven't heard about anything first party, Switch is in a pretty good place considering
Mhm.
it has a lot of third party support.
Yeah.
So much. It's got. I don't think Nintendo's seen this much third party support in a long while. I think probably like Nintendo 64 days is where I'd venture a guess.
Does shovelware on the Wii count as third party?
Oh well, I guess the Wii did have a
It had
good.
a lot of shovelware. Eminem's Beach
Yeah.
Party? Oh boy. That's third party, baby.
Yeah. I mean,
Boy.
that is technically correct, but not what I meant. Uh, yeah, that's a good point. Technically, we did have third party support, but they was all garbage.
Yeah. It also lost a lot of support for being a graphically inferior system, so a lot of more graphically advanced games just wouldn't work on the Wii. We still got like a lot considering. Like, we got like almost all the Call of Duties. We got Dead Rising, some Resident Evils. Like, we got a fair bit on the Wii. I'm still very surprised to this day, but that's, I guess, irrelevant. We didn't get Bayonetta on the Wii. We got it on the Wii U.
Which is good. I mean, but even still, the Switch has like solid third party support.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which I'm actually rather pleased about. And one of the things that shocked me, and this is a story that came out back in May, but it was EA came out and basically said, "Hey, we're planning to release a bunch of games on the Switch," which was a bit of I think a surprise to everyone who'd been kind of following EA and Switch's relationship, because EA, since Switch launched, they kind of have not done anything for it.
Mm-hmm. They did FIFA and maybe one other game that I just don't even care to remember. And then they said, well, that one other game didn't do well. We can release a couple FIFAs. That's it.
Yeah. They did not have a whole lot. I don't even think they did them. I think they did the NBA 2K. They've released the crappy WWE games.
Oh yeah, I guess those are mostly. Yeah, I think doesn't 2K do one of them though?
Yeah, 2K does WWE. Wait, shit. Am I mixing them up?
There's gotta be more WWE like franchises.
Not anymore.
Though, right?
It's only 2K these days.
Okay.
Sorry, I mixed up my companies. You're right. I think it has only been FIFA.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, it's just FIFA. I think we got one basketball game, but yeah, pretty much just FIFA.
Yeah.
Even then, they don't really care for the FIFA on Switch.
Right.
But then they made that statement a while ago, and they were basically saying that like we weren't ready to work on the Switch because it was like new. We weren't sure if our games were going to sell, but previously everyone like, well, our one FIFA game didn't really sell in the system because it was inferior, so we're not going to make any more games for it.
Right.
So it's really like backtracking because it's still sort of on the same note where they're like, well, we weren't sure if it was going to be a good platform, but like the Switch is a very good platform.
Right.
That momentum that it has is also going to be huge when competing with the Xbox Series X as well as the PlayStation 5, which is also why I think Nintendo needs to really pull some more stuff for this holiday season specifically. Get like something that will sell other than Pokemon DLC this holiday.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you had to choose between buying an Xbox Series X or, this is a bad comparison because it's a game versus a console, but if you could only pick one or the other, Xbox Series X or Super Mario Odyssey 2, which would you buy?
Yeah. That's a tough choice. Personally, I'd probably do the Odyssey, because I know I'd actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft doesn't have the support of games that I like. But then again, and traditionally for me that'd be Sony consoles. But because they get all the JRPGs and all the other weeb crap.
Yeah.
But Sony's also been in the shitter too with the copious amounts of censorship that they've been putting in for the Japanese games that have been releasing. So so this is another thing where I think the Switch will be kind of okay for now.
Switch allows titties.
Yes, basically. Although I guess they allowed oddly rendered, and I'm gonna get slammed for this from The Last of Us 2 fanboys, but I'm sorry, I've seen that sex scene. It's weird. It is uncomfortable. I would take old Biddy's Japanese, cartoon weeb crap over that stuff any day.
It is like physically impossible through to portray boobs properly in movement through any kind of media. Like, you cannot, accurately at least. You can make them good, but you can't make them accurate. It's just impossible.
Oh, okay.
We're getting too horny here. Hold on.
Right.
Okay. So Switch allows
this is what happens,
which people like. So that's also a point for Nintendo.
Right. And so, but Nintendo does have a lot of support from Japanese developers.
Senran Kagura is like a Switch franchise now going forward. Yeah. I mean, I know that they've released some of the newer ones on the PS4, but I know that a bunch of these companies are starting to push back and opt to release on PC and Switch as the pinnacle versions over the Sony systems. And so that'll be interesting. I think that'll be good for Nintendo in the long run. And beyond that, I feel like weeb games as a category just would play better on Switch because they're usually going to have, a not too intensive graphics because they're going to be more anime style, as well as, a lot of them might be JRPGs, which benefit from the portability, or they might be horny, questionable stuff that you might not want people seeing on your big flat screen TV.
Ah, that's fair. Yeah.
So it's a better system for them anyways.
Yeah.
But we need to stop getting horny here. Okay.
So I can't help it. It's COVID. It's what happens.
Is it?
Yes.
So the Switch going forward has a lot going for it. It has a very large install base, a huge backlog of games, both first party and third party. Surprisingly low shovelware, at least on the physical side. The eShop is still a mess. I really want them to fix that. It's not hard. Like the Wii U eShop, why was that bad? No, give me the Wii U eShop. It had fun music too. I love the Wii U
give
eShop
me
music.
the Wii U interface.
Yeah,
just give me. I miss Miiverse.
Miiverse.
I miss it.
Specifically, I miss the Miiverse Smash stage. That's the big thing for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And it's
loved
100% possible because Splatoon has its own version of Miiverse. And so you play Smash and they drop the Miiverse stage again. And when you finish the battle, it always prompts you, do you want to write a post about the winner? Or,
yeah.
So just do it. What's the issue? Sakurai.
Yeah.
Gold mine and dick drawings galore.
Yes. And then you'll occasionally have the very rare but actually good thing where it's
yeah, I love those.
Clearly you're an artist, but
then they have the very rare but the much more common, really good, but it has massive tits.
Hey, I'm okay with that. Shit posting is amazing.
Anyways. But Miiverse as a community was really good too. Monster Hunter benefited from a lot on the Wii U.
I actually think this is a pretty good spot to transition to kind of reflection over the past 2 years of backlog stuff that the Switch has, and we can include this here as well as kind of with the system itself, because I think this is something that I've been meaning to bring up for a while, but we haven't really had the opportunity. But it's been about 3 years since Switch has been released, right?
Yeah, a little bit over now, right? Like, coming up on 4? I think it's coming up on 4, right? At least 2017, which we're halfway through 2020, so yeah. 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I am disappointed that we haven't gotten any sort of updates to the UI.
Yeah.
I was really expecting to see themes and possible Miiverse integration, etc., into the Switch by now. And the fact that we don't have that is, to me, exceedingly disappointing.
As well as, I think one of the biggest things that I really want, like, themes are great. I love themes; they're so nice. But folders, I have just too many Switch games. Yeah. I need some folders. Okay,
yeah. I have a shit ton of Switch games.
Are a necessity, and just beyond, the folders and the themes, I was really expecting them to push more so on the online function later on. Like, I think it was already a big blunder that Nintendo botched online services in the beginning. Like, they had friend codes again. It was like not even, the app didn't exist, and it was going to be an app, and then when the app actually came out, it sucked. And there's no like in-game voice chat for most games, and there's no like way to like Xbox Live Party chat is gold. Yeah. You ever just want to like veg out on Animal Crossing and one friend's playing Splatoon and you're just talking, you're chilling, playing some music in the background, some Blink 182, I don't know what we listen to these days. I still listen to punk.
Yeah, no, I do. That's good. Yeah. No, but I feel you, and that it's sad to me because I feel like Nintendo had the components. They were there. They had the Miiverse app, right? Back before that got canned. They had Miiverse itself before it got canned. They have themes and whatnot on the 3DS, which is a technologically
inferior
system. And so,
like, the Switch UI just feels like a big step down, a step backwards, for sure.
Right, and it feels like a big step.
The 3DS nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, I like the simplicity of the Switch. Like, it's very clean and cut dry, but also it's missing a lot of key functions.
And one of the things to me that I think it's missing still is it's missing character. The Wii U had character. The Wii itself had character. There were charming systems between the Wii Shop music and all the other sort of stuff. It had character.
Like, when you go to the Wii U shop, it felt like a very Nintendo kind of theme. Like, this is definitely a Nintendo store. Whereas this could just be like, a bootleg Android store on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like, this is that, like, if you have like a bootleg Android phone and it runs on bootleg Android and you're in like this weird, very sketchy app store. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I can see that analogy.
With all the shovelware on there,
Yeah, and then occasionally you do see some good things here and there, but it's hard to find, and
and there's also like a reason why the Wii Shop channel music is so iconic. Like, it is iconic. You cannot tell me that does not slap. And it,
Oh, no, I find myself humming it all the time. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes in the shower or whatever. And
it's the best elevator music you could ever ask for, is the Wii Shop channel music.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've made a literal shopping app, the music on it is iconic. That shows that you did something right there.
Yeah.
So why don't you do the right thing again?
Yeah, and it's so bizarre to me that somehow no one thought to implement these things.
I'm sure someone thought to, but someone else said no, because we've been over this like a million times. Nintendo wanted the Switch to be like a game system. We don't do Netflix on this thing. We don't do like they wanted it to be very cut and dry so that we can just say you have the game on the home menu, you click on it, it opens up. I really feel like this was all intentional, but I feel like you're at the point now where not only you could add it easily later, and you should, but for a lot of people, it really hinders a lot of experiences. The fact that it wasn't there from day one. If the Wii eShop was better day one, that would be awesome. If online services were better day one, phenomenal. Right. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
It's so tough right now, but they botched at the beginning when they just didn't do it.
Yeah. So that's one of my gripes with just kind of the Switch interface as a whole, which I think is tangentially related rather to the backlog, right? But the backlog-wise, I think that the Switch has enough titles that it can survive whatever drought is going through, and they're all pretty decent titles too, I think.
Yeah.
And new stuff keeps getting released and or re-released. As an example, Pod Racer 1 is being released. Are they releasing?
Well, it already came out, right?
Yeah. It already.
Episode 1 Pod Racing came out.
Yeah. Yes.
Which, no one expected that.
I'm stoked for that.
Racing? What? It's cool that it's happening.
Yeah.
Or happened.
I'm kind of hoping that this leads the way to seeing Rogue Squadron 2 and 3. Oh, and shit, like even the older ones too, like the N64 one as well. That would be fantastic.
I mean, getting the ports of the good ones are fine. Star Wars is such a cool universe and can translate so well to games, but it's just been a hard time to get good Star Wars games these days. Ever since, EA, had that contract, but then they cancel like every other Star Wars game they make. And then, Battlefront 2 was dead at launch. It was just dead. No one wanted to play that. And then, is it the Force? What was the one? They made like.
I can't remember when. I can't remember the title of it, but it did come out recently.
Yeah, they made like a recent action game, and it had a lot of potential to be very. I'm gonna look up the name right now. To be like a really nice action game, but it was so buggy and broken. The Fallen Order, Jedi of the Fallen Order.
There we go.
That's what it is.
There's the F.
It's classic game critic phrase. It makes you feel like a Jedi, which is what this totally could have been, except the game breaks and the AI sucks. But pod racing, we can get like a new pod racing, fresh, rework the ground up. Maybe some new courses based on some of the new movies, et cetera, et cetera. There's potential there. I'm still think that Switch has so much potential to be a good racing game platform.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have enough, good zany games. Before, recently it was just Mario Kart. And then, a bunch of realistic racing sims. Which, are fine, but then now we have Crash Team Racing, we have Sonic Racing, Garfield Kart.
Right.
No, but we're seeing a big resurgence in the kart racing field. I still really wish that Star Fox Grand Prix really happened, because I think Star Fox has a lot of potential as a racer. When you put my mind to it,
oh yeah, it could.
You could bring back Diddy Kong Racing. There's so much potential for good racers. I really want Little Big Planet Racing as well, and Mod Nation Racing to return. Not on Switch, obviously, but those were like really good track making racers.
Right. No, I agree.
Sorry,
but
tangent.
one of the things that we are getting on the Switch that is a racer is I don't think it's been released yet, but this is one of the titles that EA mentioned that they are planning to release this year, and that is the Burnout Remastered.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And so again, I think this is titles like this will go a ways towards resolving maybe some of the drought. But I think that there is such a large backlog, right? That people who are just now entering the system still have a lot of choices of solid titles to choose from. And, to be quite frank, I don't think that the most recent gen, PS4 and Xbox, has really had a lot release on their end either that's been kind of like phenomenal.
I mean, we just got The Last of Us 2, which, it's been review bombed, but, like, it's still The Last of Us 2.
It's okay.
We just got The Ghost of Tsushima, right?
That's the only other one that I think
hyped up for a long time.
Right, but that's the
Cyberpunk's coming up.
That I can think
Project Red, Cyberpunk, dude. Like,
it's PC.
Well, it's also on consoles, isn't it?
I think.
Wait, is it really just PC?
I don't know. I thought it was. That
maybe
one is the only one I've been following. Hold on.
I think it definitely plays best on PC, but I could have sworn it was also for the consoles. But maybe you're right. Death Stranding was recently.
Okay. Yeah.
We just got Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, Xbox hasn't really been doing much. We got Ori, which play Ori. Ori's phenomenal. If you're looking for a quick game on your backlog, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
Anyways, sorry, me pushing my own agendas here.
No, it's good.
But PlayStation's had like a surprising amount of hits. Like it was definitely like a slower year for them at the same time. But PlayStation still has like a lot of big hitters between Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. That's already just a full year, honestly.
Right. I think I mean more like from a standpoint of you can't play it anywhere else. I don't see like the PS4 Expo and library having that many more must play, can only play on those consoles that the Switch doesn't have the option to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm like, if you are getting a Switch now, you still have decent amount of options.
As someone who's still a fairly recent PlayStation 4 adopter, the backlog on PlayStation 4, like if you're just now getting a PlayStation 4, it's overwhelming how many like exclusive games you can only play there are. Like, so if you like had the game from the beginning, you've been playing releases as they come out, you're probably dwindling on stuff. Yeah.
And so I kind of feel the same way with the Switch and my backlog as well on that thing.
I think one of the nicest things about owning the Switch fairly early on for me personally is that the backlog has been significantly cut. Because like that first year, it's like, oh, it's Breath of the Wild, oh, it's Mario Kart, oh, it's Mario Odyssey, it's Xenoblade.
Right.
And I'm able to sort of tackle those when they come out, and then I'm ready for the next game next month. And there's sort of like I'm killing the backlog before it really starts, which was nice. And then, of course, like third party hit. And I was like, oh no, what do I do? So now I have like a massive backlog again. But it's like when you are an early adopter of a system, it's a lot easier to not deal with the backlog for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see like what games are actually there that I can't play
on PlayStation.
On the PC.
Oh.
There we go. All PS4 exclusives. Wow, actually there aren't a whole lot that I'm seeing.
What? God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, the Ratchet and Clank series, Little Big Planet 4, technically, which isn't a good one, but hey.
Right.
what else? Astrobot for PSVR.
Hmm.
Tearaway, but I guess that's a Vita game technically. Persona 5, which is if you count the Royal, it's exclusive, but it's technically on PlayStation 3 if you don't have the Royal.
Wait, no, they released it. No, they released Persona 4 on PC. They haven't done 5 yet. Just kidding.
No, yeah, they just recently released 4, which is huge,
Right.
but also put it on Switch. Please.
Right.
But yeah,
yeah, I'm looking through the list of things on here, and I cannot see. I can probably see about a dozen or so.
Did I say Uncharted? I'm not sure if I said Uncharted, but Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like, just off the top of my head there, that's a lot.
Yeah, no, I've got a full list here of on PlayStation's website, they show, or they have a list of exclusives. And I'm looking at these about, I can probably only point out maybe 12 to 24 must plays. The rest of them you could probably leave.
I mean, yeah, and that's also a matter of opinion. Death Stranding is not a game for everyone, which also I think is on PC, so it's not a game anymore. So yeah, but the point is still there. It's a very divisive game for a lot of people. It's a must play, for not for everyone though. So that's also just an opinion statement.
Yeah, but, yeah. But I think I'm actually kind of underwhelmed by this, considering that the PS4 has been out since 2014? 15?
2013, because the Wii U came out in 2012, right? And then the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One released whenever Super Mario 3D World or Land. Land, I'm pretty sure. The one that was on Wii U and not the 3DS. They released that same weekend. So I want to say that came out 2013, potentially 2014, and they were just later on the jump than I thought. But yeah,
right. I think maybe 2013 sounds about right. But yeah, no, I'm actually,
Well, actually, the Wii U came out 2011, but November or something. But details.
Right, and I'm just saying comparatively towards.
Well, it's had over half a decade.
Yeah,
if Nintendo can release 20 must-have titles within the 3 years of the Switch, over half a decade for the PlayStation, you would think they'd have you said 24, right? So yeah. Once again, it's all opinionated. I'm sure that not everyone thinks that Pokemon Sword and Shield is a must-have title. I don't think everyone thinks that Animal Crossing is a must-have title, etc., etc. Yeah. So that's always opinionated. So yeah. Beyond that, the biggest strength Nintendo has going forward is their large install base, as well as just a lot of good games. But beyond that, let's talk about some games. We're 50 minutes in. We haven't really talked about any real games specifically. We've kind of brushed on pod racing.
Oh yeah. I think it's a good part to segue to the what are we playing? Mm-hmm. Actually,
yeah. What are we playing, Jaden?
Oh, I've actually broken out my old DS, and I am playing through Dragon Quest IX again because it's been a long time, and I don't actually think I've ever finished. I think I got 2/3 of the way through and just stopped because something else came out at the time. So I've been playing that a lot lately. It's a really solid title, and there are rumors of them remastering it for the Switch.
Ooh.
Hasn't been confirmed, but basically Square Enix did something this past year, mentioning that it was the 10th anniversary or some such of Dragon Quest IX, and so there's a lot of speculation and rumors flying about that we may see a remastered, and I think it's a good enough game that it deserves a remaster on the Switch as well. Switch-wise, though, I'm finally getting to my backlog. I'm picking up Rune Factory 4 in anticipation of the new Rune Factory that I think was initially slated end of the year, but I could be misremembering that. And so that's what I'm currently working through. I don't know, it's something with the slice of life kind of Stardew Valley farming sim thing is up my list.
Yeah, I believe Friends of Mineral Town released recently, right? So
yes,
Story releases like Harvest Moon, but now Story of Seasons.
Yeah. Actually, my wife has been playing that nonstop.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been dying to play that one, and they're so happy to get their hands on it finally. Me personally, July has been a kind of a rough month for me personally, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to play a whole lot of games. But I did recently finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Cassandra's story. Not Switch, but oh well.
Oh wait, I thought it was on the Switch. No, not Odyssey. Just kidding.
I think Origins is on the Switch via it's either Odyssey or one, but not the other. On Switch in Japan through streaming.
I thought they announced an Ass Creed anthology or something.
They have the threes, which is Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 3 Rogue or Rebellion, whatever it is. They have the Ezio collection, or at least parts of it, as well as I think Black Flag is also now on Switch. Other than that, I don't believe any other Assassin's Creeds are on Switch, though. Okay. They have one. They might have one as well, but
okay.
Yeah. They have the good ones, which I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey was good, but as someone who's only really played 2 and 3, I didn't play like the 2 between there, which between 2 and 3 just a lot changed as well. But jumping just right into Odyssey off of that, it is not the same game. These are this is not the Assassin's Creed I remember.
Right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
Like, these are incredibly different. Combat specifically just works. It doesn't work, I guess. So when I played Assassin's Creed originally, I basically did a weaponless run of 2, except for when you're required to use the hidden blade for key assassinations.
Right.
But because the combat was simultaneously really stupid, and I guess the AI was stupid and dumb, but the gameplay was very in depth, so that you had options to really just like beat people up to death, and then steal their weapons. So like going in weaponless was like a really valid strategy. At least I thought it was. It maybe made it harder. I don't know, but that's how I played it. But it's a vastly different game. But it's also just like, for what I think it's trying to be, it is amazing. I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey does a really good job at portraying, an ancient Greece setting. It's gorgeous to, see all these landmarks. It's full of like history tidbits here and there. Like, it'll say like, oh, hey, this is, this famous landmark that we've kind of recreated to be like, if it was still preserved to this day or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. And, here's these key figures, like, key philosophers and artists and whatnot. And it's cool. Like, because like one of the coolest things about 2 is you get to meet Leonardo da Vinci.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. And then like, he invented flight. Like, Leonardo da Vinci invented flight. So it's like, it takes a sort of like more fantastical side of it, which is also still present in Odyssey. And, these 2 characters, Cassandra and Alexios, their stories delve a bit more on the sci-fi aspect. And I feel like, because another big thing, I guess, with Assassin's Creed Odyssey and not playing the other games is there's an overarching real-world story to Assassin's Creed, which I'm so lost. The Desmond dies, I guess, spoilers for like a decade-old game.
Oh, yeah.
Desmond dies in 3, and I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I honestly haven't really followed. I haven't followed Assassin's Creed since 3, and so I don't understand how the outside world stuff works.
Yeah, I guess they're more connected and understand better the gods now, but that's I don't understand anything. But so I just like ancient Greece, so that's cool. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a lot of fun. If you have the means to play it, I do recommend you try it out. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but they are offering Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins for free, but like without the combat, as like a history tour. So during quarantine, you can just run around ancient Egypt and ancient Greece, just exploring for educational purposes. I'm not sure it's still free, but it was for a while, so that's also probably worth your time because these games really are beautiful, and seeing like the history and these landmarks even cooler. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I do recommend it, not Nintendo. Let's move on to what I've been playing Nintendo-wise. I finally finished Luigi's Mansion. Took me long enough, but I did it.
I still don't have it.
Yeah, there's slowly but surely just an ever-growing pile of like the first-party games I just don't have. Like Origami King's gonna be on that list for a minute.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately, I want it eventually.
Yeah,
but not right now. I'm broke.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So I've been playing what? I finished Luigi's Mansion, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I have been playing just like some Splatoon and Mario Kart and Pokemon just on my off time because they're always like good games to go back to.
Oh yeah.
I tried playing Animal Crossing again with the diving. It still wasn't enough for me, unfortunately. The game was just... It's such a shame because I love Animal Crossing. You know, this game, like New Horizons, just isn't cutting it for me.
Interesting.
And one of the things that just really bugs me a lot, and I think my game might just be glitched, but I've been playing, more or less since launch. I have a ton of flowers, a ton of like nice little areas full of furniture. I'm still at a 1-star town. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here.
Interesting.
But like my town is gorgeous and it's 1 star. So
it's unusual.
Yeah.
Maybe you missed something somewhere.
I don't know. Isabel's just like, make more areas and plant more flowers. And I'm like, I don't have more areas to plant flowers. I'm literally out of space to do that. So
weird.
It's fine. I don't need terraforming.
Who needs that?
There's a lot of bad placements of things. I need terraforming.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I've been playing those. I streamed Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Isle of Armor, as well as like we recently on stream, the latest stream I did, we completed the Isle of Armor Pokedex. We got a bunch of Diglets.
Oh, nice.
We catched a shiny Squirtle and caught a shiny what's it called? Slowpoke, and evolved into Slowbro. We got a shiny Wailord. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah, we had a very successful last stream in Pokemon Isle of Armor. Probably won't be doing Isle of Armor for a bit though, because I've done everything now. But yeah, I'm going to be streaming when I do play things. Not sure what yet, but maybe just some Mario Kart till I figure it out. But yeah, follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheKingBlues. Worth your while if you like my highly opinionated commentary on things, on everything. Really.
So what are you planning on tackling next in your backlog? I mean, that's been one of the big things that we've been talking about today. Is kind of
I actually want to, finish Astral Chains now. Astral Chains came out like in a packed September sort of a window.
Yeah,
and it really got forgotten. And now, the Switch has had such a weird, release year. Like, it had a very strong first year, like a kind of weak second year, and then the third year,
19
started strong, and then all of a sudden, Animal Crossing hit, and what happened?
20, you mean? Yeah. 20 has been not even odd, but so much stuff came out in 2019. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I want to play after I'm done with Rune Factory 4. Like, for example, one of the things I still need to do Astral Chain. That's a title that I haven't even opened yet. There's still a bunch of DLC content for Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 that I haven't even touched. They recently released, and by Nippon Ichi Software, they recently released a remastered, I believe, collection.
Disgaea?
No, Langrisser 1 and 2. They released the compilation of Langrisser 1 and 2, which is a series that we haven't seen since PlayStation 1, I think.
Also, is the Prinny collection out yet on Switch?
No, that's later this year.
This year. Prinny is like a highly underrated 2D platformer series.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Only PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita, which who plays those, right?
Right.
But like this guy, Nippon Ichi makes just great games, and they're like a highly, I feel, at least in the West, a highly underrated developer. Please check out their games. Disgaea is like one of the greatest tactical RPGs I've played in years. Prinny is a great platformer. I'm forgetting what else they do.
They do a lot of different things. They publish a lot. I know in-house, the Disgaea series is theirs, but yeah. Let's see. Langrisser 1 was originally the PC 8800 series, released on the PC Engine, Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've seen Langrisser 1.
Oh, they do Ys. And
yes, the Ys series.
Yeah, as well as Trials of Cold Steel, it looks like.
Yes, and Trails of Cold Steel 3 was recently released on the Switch. Trails of Cold Steel 4 is still open for pre-orders, I believe. And so it's companies companies like Nippon Ichi Software is doing a whole lot in keeping the system afloat.
Honestly, yeah, and they're like, no one's really paying attention to them, but they're definitely putting out a lot. That's like you see like the Ys, the Langrisser, like these are going to be titles that like someone's going to pick them up and just enjoy them in this drought for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they're solid titles. They may not appeal to your like casual Call of Duty bro.
Oh yeah.
But I think that in many cases, Western dev studios are slipping these days, and it's to me at least, it's games like Langrisser or Prinny or what other kind of Japanese dev studio things. Those are the ones that interest me these days because they tend to be story driven, and I don't see that a whole lot from Western devs these lately, at least.
Yeah, I think Western devs are really pushing the games as services model a lot more than I'd really like, which is fine. And maybe more multiplayer games or the free to play market, whatever. But I can't really a lot of the bigger studios that produce single player games are going to be like Naughty Dog, Insomniac. Which haven't had a whole lot of specifically Naughty Dog has not had a whole lot of output in this generation. I think they've only really released Last of Us 2 recently because they didn't make Uncharted 4, right?
I'm looking that up right now.
They didn't make Uncharted 4. They outsourced that, I believe. And then they made The Last of Us 1 at the end of the PlayStation 3. And then they got right to work on Last of Us 2, if I'm remembering it correctly. They haven't made a game in this entire generation until now.
No, it looks like Uncharted 4 is being credited as Naughty Dog being the developer. That's weird.
Oh, maybe I am wrong, but either way, it's still not a whole lot of output from Naughty Dog. Like,
Yeah.
so it's, you know, but what, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Mario, Zelda, Metroid. We're gonna another Metroid. Come on, Kirby, Moon Studio. Remedy. Yeah, Remedy. I guess Bethesda. CD Projekt Red, which doesn't once again doesn't have a very high output of games. Like those are like the things I look to.
Oh yeah.
I guess id is part of Bethesda now, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Bethesda. Valve made the new Half-Life, but
it was the VR one.
But they don't make games anymore.
No, not so much.
Yeah, so
What's
like
Blue Moon? And what they do release is always phenomenal.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's not something you can count on a consistent basis to slake whatever thirst you have, you know?
Like, even though Valve, like, I think the most surprising thing about, like, Valve right now to me is that the fact that they don't even make games, but they still produce, like, extremely top-tier quality is so impressive. Because, like, I feel like after so long of not making a game, you know, you'll lose your touch, or, you know, the talent changes, and so the same person who made the game originally isn't making the sequel, you know, et cetera, like, or outdated techniques from 10 years ago don't really fly with today's game design and development, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, Half-Life Alyx is, like, the best VR game, period. And it's like, wow, they just did it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's funny, because one of the titles that comes to mind that I think this definitely suffers from that kind of phenomena was Duke Nukem Forever, I think was the title.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where it's funny. I went back to actually look through some of the gameplay footage. I didn't bother. I didn't have the time to actually sit down and play it. And it's on one of my backlog things to do. Mm-hmm. But looking at it now, I'm kind of like, you know, this actually isn't bad. I think it's just it didn't translate well to when it was released. It was released circa 2008-ish. Mm-hmm. And the zeitgeist of that particular time was, it has to be the, like, a hyper-realistic military shooter a la Call of Duty. And so when Duke Nukem Forever comes in being kind of like this 90s, 2000s arcadey kind of shooter thing, it was just, you know, it was toward a new asshole.
Yeah. For sure, but I think beyond just the fact that it came out at the wrong time, it really did go through a lot of development hell. Like, that was a game, you know, a decade or so in the making, and it got scrapped. It had just a lot of issues, you know. And it was by far from a perfect product. But, you know, we see now, like, Doom is, like, in high demand. People can't get enough Doom because we're so sick and tired of team-based shooters. You just want to grab a gun, run around, and kill everything.
And
like, Doom is therapeutic, you know. Like,
when you look at kind of like, if you boil down the core gameplay of Doom, what is it really? It is that kind of style of late 90s, mid 2000s arcadey kind of shooter that you saw in Duke Nukem Forever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it only can work now because right now we're in a perfect kind of environment of it works, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People aren't thirsting for that hyper military Call of Duty shooter as much as they were in 2007, 2008. And so,
now it's all about the battle royale.
Oh, good God. Which I guess you could also use your Switch for, because you've got Fortnite on that thing too.
Apex Legends is hitting soon, right? As well?
That was another title that EA mentioned that they were working on porting to the Switch, so...
that's, like, I'm impressed if they can get that to work. But if they can get Apex to work, can we get Titanfall? Titanfall 2 on Switch would be pretty nice, EA, you know? Just saying.
Possibly, actually.
Right? Yeah, it's like, if they can... Because it's the same engine, I'm pretty sure. I'm positive it's the same engine. So if we can get Apex, we can get Titanfall. Come on, you make it happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That'd be kind of interesting, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, so what was our original thing here? Just like single player experiences.
Yeah, we're talking about like
yeah.
backlogs and what we have on our backlogs that we're hoping to get through, which led to kind of
the single player experience talk. Like Astro Chains was a single player game, and then we talked about like your preference for Nippon Ichi Langrisser. Yeah, like I definitely think as much, even though I'm mostly playing multiplayer games, just because they're a lot easier to just jump in, jump out in my free time. I sorely want to just plunge hours and hours into, a real single player experience now. Like it's especially on Switch because you can just play it in veg out and just complete the quests. Like if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. No, it does. I think there's something satisfying about knowing something has a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
Right? And sure, it's great to do a thing that constantly it just kind of tests your skill,
like,
Splatoon
constantly fun. Mario Kart constantly fun. But there's no definitive end or beginning. There's no Splatoon has a story, but that's different from the multiplayer aspect.
Right.
So yeah, like being able to just like play through Xenoblade a few months ago, it just because I haven't played through like a game like Xenoblade since Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like where I just really pushed the story forward and forward. I guess maybe I did that with Monster Hunter, but that's more like of a mission-based progression game. Like, I want to play Dragon Quest XI still. It's still in the backlog, but that I think would be in that same boat as Xenoblade. But I haven't really had a chance to play a game I could just like push out, all right, go to the next continent, go to the next whatever, and just progress, and it has a great story, and I'm bawling at the end or whatever, like. So it's been refreshing to go back to a lot more like just deep dive, I guess, not deep dive, but really getting immersed. I haven't had like a single player game I've really gotten immersed into, because like Spider-Man or what other single player games like Luigi's Mansion. I don't know, like the progression in those games. Well, I guess specifically open world games. I know Xenoblade is fairly open world too, but I'm really fatigued on open world now. Like I can do like open areas, but open world like playgrounds, I'm getting fatigued on personally.
Oh no, I feel you. Yeah.
But I also have to like have like a clearer progression, because like we just mentioned, I guess it's a very streamlined and clear progression, but it's like it doesn't flow in and out of itself very well. Like you can just like say one more mission in Xenoblade, and then the cutscene happens, and you're starting the next mission, and you just like, well, now I have to,
Yeah.
Whereas like Luigi's Mansion, you clear the floor. All right, cool. I can put this down for 3 months. So like, and while I don't typically enjoy when a game like forces me to play more by sucking me into a cutscene, it's just been refreshing. I don't know. So
no, I know what you mean. No, I get it. So yeah, that's another title I need to put on my backlog too. Is I need to bump up Xenoblade. I've been putting that off for a long time. Ugh.
It's so worth it. Please, if you are in the audience right now and you have not purchased Xenoblade 1 or 2, or like X, I guess, although it won't really like support Monolith, but like please, they're phenomenal games. Very well worth it. And they're very accessible now they're on Switch.
Yeah.
And I guess beyond that, the one other thing that I've been really happy to see is we're seeing a huge resurgence of 3D platformers. With Crash coming back, we have Crash 4 now.
Yeah.
And then, we have his trilogy, you have Spyro's trilogy. Mario Odyssey was like a really good breath of fresh air. Hat in Time, Yooka-Laylee wasn't great, but it was still, it's a good game, and it's like still a 3D collectathon, We're seeing Ratchet and Clank, which is great. I like Insomniac is such a good developer. I'm so glad to see Insomniac putting out they have already just a high output from the new Spider-Man game, Ratchet and Clank. That's already a huge early lead from Insomniac in terms of output, which I love both of those games. So yeah, just Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, that was my point. Battle for Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob just came out. We're seeing the resurgence of 3D platformers, and I didn't know how much I missed 3D platformers until Mario Odyssey came out, and then the Hat in Time, and it was just all yeah, why was I playing all these other games when I could be playing 3D platformers?
Oh yeah, no, that is one thing I think that's been really good about not just the Switch, but the industry overall the past year or so. Is we're finally starting to see some nice variety again.
Mm-hmm. I still want a bit more on the racing scene, and I won't say no to more platformers, especially new ones, because we're seeing a lot of re-releases of platformers, but more new platformers, give us Spyro 4, with Crash, or you can do more now that we've established there's a market for 3D platformers. There's a market. You need to capitalize that with some new stuff now, though. As well as just kart racers. We have Mario Kart. We have Crash. Those are successful. Give us more, please.
Yeah.
Which also, just a new Mario Kart would also be cool. Or at the very least, DLC for 8 Deluxe. I would want more of a reason to play Mario Kart. I know I already played a lot, but I want a reason to play for a month straight.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be nice to see some additional support. It kind of feels like the game released and we haven't really seen.
We got another Link and another Link motorcycle since launch.
Yeah, that's about it, right?
Yeah,
it'd be nice to see a new set of maps, a new flight of maps set.
Yeah, whatever. And there's so much to pull from now too. With the floodgates open to beyond just Mario, as well as Mario Odyssey. And I think we're seeing a lot more of that appear, much to my personal dismay, in Mario Kart Tour. Mario Kart Tour is getting all the new content, and I'm I want to drive around Paris in 8 Deluxe. That's such a cool stage where you just go around the world basically for all these landmarks, and why isn't this in Odyssey in 8? So I don't know. I feel like I don't know how much money they're making from Tour. I know last time I checked their sales for it wasn't high compared to they were making money, but it wasn't high. But with how much Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sells and is still selling, DLC, come on, it's so obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think of there. Who knows? I'm hoping they'll give us something soon.
But all right, let's make a list. Action games and RPGs. I gotta recommend Astral Chains and Xenoblade, and for 2D platformers, Ori and the Blind Forest and Hollow Knight. 3D platformers. I guess if you haven't already played Mario Odyssey, what are you doing? But beyond that, A Hat in Time and
Yooka-Laylee.
No, not Yooka-Laylee. Probably the Crash trilogy. It's cheap now too. Three great games. That's a steal, honestly. Just for the value, I would say Crash.
Oh yeah. And seeing that on a Nintendo platform is really weird too.
The novelty, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, super cool, but a bit odd.
I think that's more or less my list. Yeah. Do you have a list of breakdown of genres you'd recommend to people?
Yeah. In terms of action adventure, or
Action slash RPG. Like I'm gonna throw that in together, which I know is gonna be a hard choice for you. You might do it differently.
I'm gonna try and narrow that down to just a few. Dark Souls, of course.
Oh yeah.
I really, really enjoyed Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I put a lot of hours into that. And then Dragon Quest 11, of course, because Dragon Quest is easily my favorite series in terms of RPGs. But that's really mainstream. So if you want a title that's not mainstream, oh shit! I am so blanking on the title. Let me look that one up.
While you're looking that up, I also got to recommend Bakugan as a Pokemon alternative when that comes out. I can't guarantee it'll be good. I really hope it will be, but at the very least, if you don't try the game, buy a starter deck or two for the card game and like grab like your sister, or your brother, or someone. Just try it out. It's a good TCG. Got a shill for Spin Master, my boy Reggie, real quick. But yeah, buy Bakugan as well as like Prinny. Prinny's an underrated 2D platform. That 2D platform is Prinny. You're gonna rage, but you'll love it. Trust me, for sure.
It's on the tip of my tongue. What are
Can you describe the gameplay or graphics or anything?
It's a Nipponichi Software turn-based RPG, but it's a dungeon diver.
Is it like a first-person dungeon crawler?
Yeah, Labyrinth of Refrain,
Coven of
Dusk. That game is super solid. It is easily one of the best games I've played in the past 2 or 3 years. Between the soundtrack and the story, it is something that's really stuck with me. That's a solid title. Haven't really done a whole lot in terms of platformers. I think the only ones I've really touched was Yooka-Laylee. I've done more of the side scrollers, actually, and so which one is the Castlevania spiritual successor? Yeah, Bloodstained. The only thing I could remember was Curse of the Moon, and so I couldn't remember the actual title. Bloodstained, solid. That's a good one.
Inti Creates just put out the sequel to their remake of Bloodstained as well, which that remake was great. So. Yeah. Really I haven't played. Also, Inti Creates is great. They made Gunvolt and Dragon Marked for Death. They made the original ZX games. Integrate. They made Galgun and Galgun 2. How do you not?
Yeah, and I think they did Blaster Master Zero.
Yeah, they did the Zero. And Zero
I mean, you can't go wrong with anything that Inti Creates has released. Basically,
they made a better Mighty Number 9 than Mighty Number 9, and half the time it took to make Mighty Number 9.
Yeah. Oh, Mighty Number 9.
Oh, it's such a shame. We all want more Mega Man. Mega Man 11, really necessary. And I still want more X-like games. Inti Creates gets the X and ZX just right. So check them out if you're into that. As well as if we could get Legends 3.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
I'm still upset about that.
Yeah.
Legends 3, guys. Come on, Capcom.
That would be nice. Trying to think.
While you think, I got a shill for another game by Atlas. So if you're into the Labyrinth of Refrain Coven of Dusk by Ipponichi, I highly recommend the vastly superior Etrian Odyssey series. It's only on the 3DS right now. Please don't say it's dead. They didn't say it was dead. They said it was dead on the 3DS.
So, they strongly implied that it's dead.
I know. But it's such a better game than Coven of Dusk.
They're very different. They're very different.
They are, yeah. And I guess I personally just enjoy the direction of Etrian Odyssey more. It is definitely a preference thing.
Right. I mean the reason why I don't know. I don't like to compare the two. Mm-hmm. But the story in Labyrinth of Refrain is something that I haven't experienced in an Etrian Odyssey title in a long time.
Yeah. That's fair.
So
But the thing I don't like a lot about the story in Covenant of Dusk is how disconnected it is from the gameplay. So the
Yeah.
game takes place in a well in a town, but the people can't enter the well. They send little puppet spirits down, and so those are the characters that you have. And they explore the well, but then because these aren't the main characters, they're just puppets. You have to do what you need to do. Then, when you return to the town, the main character is actually the story. And I just hated how disconnected that felt. It really killed my motivation to actually play.
It's very interesting.
But it is a good story, nonetheless.
You're not just the puppets, you're actually the book.
True,
so you're actually both things. And so,
yeah.
Even though it felt disconnected, I felt like the more you played through it, the more pieces started to connect. And it's kind of like, oh, this makes sense. Now I'm
the whole
really
mystery of the labyrinth and the well and the town really clicks. I don't even want to say it's like OG Professor Layton, because it's much grander than that. But it's kind of like you understand everything once the climax happens, and
it very much has a feel of kind of like a mystery title.
Yeah,
and so that I also really like that.
So it's a great game. I think that the other reason why I didn't like this Covenant of Dusk as much is because there's that disconnect in the story. There's also a disconnect in the characters. So you can create a disconnect in the characters in Astroneer Odyssey if you so choose. There's also usually a cast of characters that you can have that will be actively part of the story, which I do prefer a lot more. I think it's definitely the characters that got me in Astroneer Odyssey specifically.
Yeah. And so, it's there's definitely a different emphasis on different characters in certain titles.
There's also just phenomenal music.
They both had really solid music, honestly.
True, yeah. The Covenant of Dusk music was great as well. Ichi's pretty banger, honestly.
Yeah, they really tend to release a lot of good stuff. And so, beyond that, I am blanking on titles to fit the other genres and say, Dead Cells? That's another one. That's a seriously phenomenal game, and it runs really well on the Switch.
Didn't they just announce something with Dead Cells, actually? I want to say they just announced something with Dead Cells today, or at least Making of Evil Empire CEO. That's Dead Cells review. I don't know if this is it, but more content for Prisoners Edition. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess it's update of Penalty. Oh, update of Plenty. So it's just the guy updated. That's all.
Okay, yeah, and that's another title that I think is one of those where if you like a challenging game, if you like something that's side-scrolling but also is a bit roguelite, Dead Cells is fantastic because they're constantly updating the game as well. That is a title that I think is a must-buy if you're into that genre. Another one that's kind of similar to it that has that kind of Souls-like feel is Salt and Sanctuary. The art style is kind of atrocious, if I'm being quite frank. It's very unique in terms of art style, but the gameplay is really solid. Really good gameplay. And so that's another title to check out as well. I need to finish that one. That's another one on my backlog.
Backlogs are massive, dude. Especially beyond just one system, like a PlayStation 4 backlog, TV backlogs, book backlogs, beyond it all. How are we supposed to be a consumer when there's so much stuff?
Oh yeah. No, it's this is one of the things that the Plague has been good for. I think for most people is they've been able to get a start and work through these. But
I'm 600 episodes into One Piece, dude.
Oh yeah, welcome.
I'm not okay.
That's I need to start on that again. Actually,
there was no excuse not to become a One Piece fan. I'm a little upset that right when they added on Netflix, they only did the first 4 parts, which I had just finished.
Oh, yeah, Hulu.
Up until that point. And I was like, oh.
Pretty sure it's all on Hulu. So.
I just watched it on Funimation because I got the subscription for Kaguya-sama, and now I have a subscription, so I'm like, well, may as well watch as much as I can.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Because definitely one of the barriers of entry to One Piece that helps is, I don't want to read 900 episodes of subtitles. I'm watching that dubbed.
Yeah, I know what you
Like,
mean.
Yeah.
I could have sworn they released a One Piece game on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. Romance Dawn, Unlimited World Red,
Pirate Warriors 4.
Warriors 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
That's a Warriors
is the Dynasty Warriors style gameplay, if I remember correctly. A lot of fun there.
Sure. I thought they also released like an open world game that like was kind of Skypiea. I want to say it was Skypiea that it took place in, which is like Unlimited World Red for Switch. But maybe it was just maybe that was just Wii U.
I think they might have released that one. Yeah. They did re-release it, which I heard that one was good. I haven't touched it, but
is for PlayStation 4, Switch, PlayStation 3, Wii U, Microsoft Windows, and 3DS. Yeah.
Oh, the other thing that Switch has that's pretty good is they have decent turn-based RPGs. Turn-based strategy titles in the form of the Gundam games. You can get Gundam Cross Race imported, and that one's pretty cool if you are into giant robots. So, that's another one. Daemon X Machina? No. Yes. Daemon X Machina is a pretty solid title if you like the Armored Core series and have been itching for something like that, because FromSoft has not released Armored Core in a long time.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah.
Speaking of just I don't even know what you said that reminded me of it, but Disco Elysium is a game that is coming to Switch. It might already be on Switch, but I'm pretty sure it's still coming out. But Disco Elysium, phenomenal.
Have not heard of that one.
It won more awards at the Game Awards than Death Stranding did. Believe it or not, everyone's like, "Oh, Death Stranding won all the awards." Hello, Disco Elysium.
Oh shit! It's a detective RPG.
Yeah,
that's cool. I am already interested.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's
check
pretty
that
cool.
out while you're checking out our recommendations, because we haven't given you enough yet. Why would she give you enough games to play?
Yeah, that's cool. I will definitely look into this one. That one, that's cool. That is wicked cool.
You know what else is wicked cool? Bakugan.
Dude. Yes. I gotta say, I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm hoping that we see a Zoids. They're releasing a new Zoids game.
Didn't they make a fighting game recently as well? Or is that the one you're talking about?
I think it might be the one I'm talking about. But okay. I know it's supposed to be releasing at the end of the year in Japan. I don't think they've announced if it's coming stateside yet. But giant robots, right?
Yeah,
so
true. Giant robots,
I'm hoping that it'll get the treatment that a lot of the Japanese titles have been getting, where instead of bothering to get a publisher for localization stuff, they'll just translate it, and then you have the option to import it with English subtitles. And so I'm hoping that's what'll happen. Who knows? That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. And I guess, what else? Bakugan's coming back, Zoids is back, Digimon's, I guess, never really left, but whatever. Not sure it counts, but Yokai Watch. Not sure if 4 is in the States yet, for some reason, which I feel like it should be.
Yeah, it should be. It's weird that it hasn't.
Watch 4. Because I know it was supposed to happen, right? When did it come out in America? Did it? Is Yokai Watch working in America? Wish not released it yet. Yeah, damn. But Yokai Watch is a good game. 1 and 3 are phenomenal. 1 and 3. 2 is still a really good game, but definitely not as good as the 1 and 3. So
yeah,
Yokai Watch, check those out.
So we'll see. Oh, here we go. Level 5 announced Yokai Watch for Western release at 2019.
Level 5 games are great.
That's weird.
Yeah, it really went on a hiatus, I guess, because it was supposed to come out like I want to say like September last year or something.
Oh, they just said, "Oh, we'll bring it out eventually."
Yeah, and then they also were gonna remake 1 on Switch as well, which I'm not sure what happened with that either. They need to localize Yokai Watch fast enough. I don't know. I'm upset.
That'd be pretty cool.
Hmm.
Anyway, I think this is probably a good stopping point.
What we call it, yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
So, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, there were many reasons to get the Switch, and even though we are in a bit of a drought, there's still a whole lot to play. So,
the drought still sucks nonetheless, though. I want to hear new things, Nintendo.
All right.
Come on.
But rest assured that it's there's still things. And
give us Mother 3.
Right.
You know how easy it would be to just give us Mother 3, and then then just some people would be so happy. I'm like, oh yeah, and then you could just put it out.
Yeah.
You know, like so easy to do. They just won't do it.
And they should do it in that clay style that it was rumored in.
Oh, true. That would be cute. But I mean, like, just a direct port. They could just steal the fan translation and everyone would be happy. Like, honestly.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
it doesn't quite look like Link's Awakening, but like more claymation. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you in the audience that are either watching or listening and have no idea what we're talking about, it came out. It came out a while back that at one point in time, Nintendo was toying with the idea of releasing, I think it was Mother 3, if not Mother 3, then one of the Mother titles in a remastered kind of format. And I believe it was on the GameCube. I believe it was either GameCube or 64. So this is the kind of era. But it was supposed to have a claymation style, similar to how like Woolly World had a wool style and.
It's from the Monolith Soft actually was working on it.
Yeah. And it obviously never came out. But that was something that was being worked out at one point at one point in time. So that would be pretty cool if they were to give that to us on the Switch. That would be fantastic. Look it up actually.
Yeah, don't
if
worry.
you haven't heard about it. It's the art style is really fantastic. Similar to the Link's Awakening art style, but just different because of the claymation. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this from the Baten Kaitos Monolith Soft. Yeah, cool. Was I saying something?
Oh, we just got enough on another tangent.
Mother 3, yeah.
Mother 3 would be the thing that would make the drought worthwhile.
It really would.
Yeah. But beyond that, I think this is it for this episode.
Yeah.
I hope we've given you enough reasons to not freak out.
Hopefully, yeah. But now I've just given you another one with this gorgeous mother picture.
Yeah, I like it. Go start a writing campaign. Everybody send tweets to Sakurai about Mother 3. No, don't actually do that. I'm kidding.
No, yeah.
Clearly thinking, please don't harass Sakurai on Twitter.
Now that I'm thinking about it too, isn't this year an anniversary for Mother and Earthbound? And there's like a collector's art book coming out for it.
I think so.
So, you know, Mother 3.
Yeah, Reggie, make it happen. Come on.
Please, Reggie. Oh my gosh. Give us Mother 3.
That'd be pretty cool.
Tweet Reggie. He has Spin Master connections with Nintendo now.
Yeah.
Give us Mother 3.
All right. Yeah. I'm sure he'd be kind of cool with it if you were nice, but
yeah,
whatever.
Please be respectful. Don't like death threats or anything. No.
Right. Please do not harass people on Twitter. We do not condone that sort of behavior.
Just like be nice to people, honestly. Like,
I mean, that's a good general rule of thumb. Just be nice to people.
Yeah. Respect others.
All right.
On that note, I think we should get out of here. Do you want to drop your social media links, Jaden?
Oh yeah, it's easy. Twitch, Twitter, and whatever else exists. Reddit, whatever. If at Jaden Winsong. If Jaden Winsong, it's probably me.
Cool. And you can follow me on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter at VKingBlues. As always, blues spelled BLOOZ. We're gonna get out of here. You can play Bakugan. Have a great day. Deuces.
Bakugan, that's good.